Man, did you that joint session of the Congress on March 4th, that speech? What'd you think about that?
I liked it personally, because I favor the Republican side of our politics more than our Democratic side. But the one thing that got me was the blatant disrespect of the Democratic Congress, men and women.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like no matter what side you're on, you can at least still be respectful.
Yes.
And that was not shown at all. It was like, it was kind of like a bunch of kids, that are, in suspension, the bad kids that, and for anybody listening and watching, I'm not trying to, necessarily offend anybody, but also at the same time, it's not hard to be respectful.
No,
it really isn't. And, there was a lot of things that happened, in the previous administration that I for one didn't agree with, whether it was specific things that happened or how it was handled. I didn't agree with. But I didn't, kind of thinks of, like in a supermarket, the kid that wants a toy at checkout, and then throws themselves on the ground and be like, oh, I want this, or, whatever. And, that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah. And it's just it's the disrespect. Like we've already said, they recognized numerous people that were in the gallery. Like, Laken Riley's parents and sister were there.
Absolutely.
And the little boy,
DJ Daniel, 13-year-old cancer survivor, diagnosed.
couldn't even clap for either one of those families or stand. I mean,
or stand even.
Yeah, you don't have to
just sit there.
Yeah, you don't have to
You don't do that.
Show respect.
And that to me shouldn't be political based as far as being able to be respectful.
That's just human.
That's inhumane to just ignore.
Yeah.
And they blatantly just ignored it.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I mean, and it just kept going. The people that were getting Social Security payouts in the late 100s, 200s, and that one old soul that's 360 plus years old.
That old soul that's older than the soul of the U.S.?
Yes.
That one? The United States?
That is older than our country, is getting paid Social Security. I mean, that's good for him or her.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Whoever it might be.
Whoever that might be.
I'm pretty sure that alias is probably still alive.
Maybe.
That money's going somewhere.
Yes.
In somebody's pocket.
Yes.
That is still living and breathing.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee it. It's going to somebody.
Yeah. Did you notice the group of it was mainly women, congresswomen that were wearing pink?
I did.
Yeah. Do you know why they were wearing pink?
No, I don't.
So I dug into it a little bit, and it was to show defiance against our president.
Are you serious?
Yes. Representative Teresa Fernandez of New Mexico, who leads the Democratic Women's Caucus. This is from Time magazine. She told them that the color signifies our protest of Trump's policies, which are negatively impacting women and their families. Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. So, I looked into it a little bit of like, what policies has he, I guess put in place
In so far in his second term that he's been in office.
Right.
Right.
That negatively affect women and families. And it took me to the National Partnership of Women and Families.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's 20 ways Trump administration has already harmed women and families. And believe it or not, it's all DEI stuff. if you can imagine. Yeah.
That's a hard one to fathom there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, every bit of it is, him wrongfully terminating women,
like job wise
through that's in the government.
Well, I'm sure that the ones that lost their jobs wasn't all women.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
making sure
it affected men and women, but but
equally.
Yeah. And then I also thought, and this is kind of, this is where my mind goes, especially in today's world. They're all wearing pink to to protest the policies for women, and they don't even know what one is.
Good point. That's a good point right there.
But I am glad that he has signed stuff to keep men out of women's sports in schools, college.
And
as it should be.
As it should be. And the thing about it is whenever this gets brought up, with people around in conversations and things like that, and the whole equality thing, not trying to get down in that deep rabbit hole too much, because you can get sucked in very quickly. But men and women, humane wise, are equal. They're both people. They both have rights. They have all those things, very equal. However, naturally, men and women are better at doing different things.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. Organically, naturally, they're better at doing certain things. Men are better at doing certain things. Not saying women can't do those things, and vice versa. Not saying men can't do the things that women do as far as job-wise and responsibilities, things like that. When it comes to, a family, those often cross,
right.
And you do, each, men and women, both sides do, a lot of equal things, at times, especially when one is sick or, whatnot. You've got to pick up the
right.
slack of where the spouse is lacking. But, but men and women are equal in that regard, but it's just naturally, I feel like they can do different things better than the other side.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just it's a partnership that, especially in regards to family, it's, it's not necessarily picking up the other one's slack or anything like that, but it's you work together as a team.
Absolutely. It's a team effort. And, sometimes, sometimes there is slack to be picked up, but at the same time, it needs to be met with grace and understanding of like, oh, okay, like maybe they picked up some extra hours at work or whatever. And it's like, okay, with that understanding, it's like, okay, I'll do this, it's it's kind of that give and take thing, but at the same time, it's there needs to be a lot of understanding. And we're kind of getting into a different topic here almost, but we'll kind of synopsis it in that, summarize it up in that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do look forward to more things that the president is going to do.
Yes.
I feel he is in the long run going to help our country.
I think so really overall. Men, women, children,
everybody.
And he made, the president made a statement, a few times that, what he's working on right now, it might be uncomfortable for a little bit, but the country was in such a rough shape whenever he took over in office in January that there had to be change that needed, there had to be change made in order to redirect the ship, if you will, that is known as the United States.
It had to turn completely around.
It did. So. It was going in the wrong direction.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Just ask the Titanic about that.
No. So
or the submersible.
The
Spicy.
Yeah,
Get canceled.
already.
Bring it.
Already. So enough about that. Did you hear where Elon?
That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
The end.
Not the end. Stay there.
Elon has lost $111 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B since he's
That's a lot of zeros.
Decided to help the president, and it's mainly due to Tesla stock.
Why? Why is Tesla stock going down?
Who drives Teslas mainly? Yeah.
Save the planet.
Yeah. I mean,
generally, not
right.
all of them. I mean, not gonna lie, the acceleration is out of this world.
Yeah.
You know, hence why he's trying to get off this world. You know, in a rocket, and you know, get that adrenaline. You know, that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
It's like a rocket. Whenever you press the quote unquote gas.
Yeah.
The accelerator.
Yeah. But yeah, he's lost $111 billion.
Since deciding to help President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very surprised in a way at the beginning, you know, whenever Elon was talking about getting into the political realm, and then I mean he went full force in there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is a guy that already has a ridiculously full schedule, but he's made time to do it, and you know, because he's got. I couldn't even list all the companies that he's, you know, overseeing and a part of, and founded and created and whatever.
Right.
But it's a lot of them. But I can't fathom $111 billion loss in, how long has it been? Like 2 months, roughly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, maybe that's from.
Leading up because he was a part of the campaigning too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe that's a total of
since the beginning. He started like, hey, you know, I'm going to support Donald Trump. And people are like, what are you doing? You know, in the political space, and you know, and I don't think he's done a bad job.
No, he's found all kinds of things.
He has a lot of things that he's found that has been since exposed, and a lot of things have already been resolved, and it's not even been 100 days in office.
Right. Yeah. They've uncovered a lot of mismanagement of federal funds already. He said what it was, but I don't remember during his speech what they have found as of right now.
I'm seeing a lot of different amounts, and it's big numbers too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, was it in the trillions or is it billions?
I don't remember. I truly don't remember.
Okay. But then you got the whole Doge thing as well. Trump investigates U.S. debt for fraud, suggests Treasury payments might not count. But I don't know if this is what you're talking about here, but it's kind of talking about the stock market, and you know the national debt is approximately $36.2 trillion. But that's a lot of those things that are going into that debt is being looked at, like you were saying, and uncovering a lot of those expenses that are going into not what they're saying they're going to.
Oh, yeah.
And they are going into like lawmakers' pockets and, you know, different people, and they are becoming extraordinarily wealthy very quickly. That is until Trump and Elon and Vice President J.D. Vance and, you know, their whole cabinet, their whole team that they've elected and appointed have done an amazing job of, you know, of uncovering that and trying to put a stop to it as soon as possible. And it's pretty wild to see, you know, the other side of the aisle, if you will, squirm and be very uncomfortable and lash out on different social media platforms, on mainstream media, all those things of, this isn't fair, this isn't right, this is illegal, this is against, the Constitution, all these different things. And what it is they're afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are actually being affected by this. And honestly, as they should be.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get into politics, for the example that, we're using, Congress, and become a millionaire.
Exactly.
In one term.
They're facing some challenges right now as well. Because this whole for life thing, I know that's not necessarily Congress, but it's, some of those positions, you should not be in there for life.
No.
Like, get out.
Yeah.
Go home. Whether that's your house or retirement home, whatever it is.
Enjoy your old age.
Very old age.
Retire.
Yeah. Retire before you don't walk out of the office again.
Exactly.
Because you don't make it.
And that's both sides.
Absolutely, 100%. That's both sides.
Good grief.
And I support that. For the Republican side, Democratic side, independent, whatever. There should be, in fact, limits. Just like there is for presidential. You can do 4 years and 2 of those. Whether they're together or not.
Yeah.
Which has been. If it's not together, it's been proven very difficult to do. But
right.
President Trump has made that happen.
Yeah.
There's only been a couple of them that have done that. But yeah, term limits for sure. And that's not like lifetime.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, kind of speaking of the whole Elon thing, what do you have you heard about you know about Starlink because you actually have Starlink.
I actually have Starlink.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes,
because you actually cut the cable, as they say, because you had cable internet, I believe, and this is much better. I mean, we were talking before the show, and you were like, "This is like leagues better."
Oh yeah, I had Spectrum.
Throw them out there.
They were terrible.
That's one of the cable providers in our area in good old North Carolina.
They were terrible.
But, yes. They're that and then
that's just my opinion. If you have Spectrum and love it, that's great.
Yeah.
But my opinion
for you and your family,
they were terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things too that I like is the router that comes with the Starlink. I don't want to call it a dish, but the equipment that goes outside, comes in on a 50-foot cable that it comes with, and goes into the router that you purchase along with it. It's like a big setup kit. And how's the setup for it?
Simple.
And this is not a sponsored ad for Starlink or anything. However, so many people like you are liking Starlink so much, especially in this area, that we're getting actual like congestion errors whenever people try to either order new service, meaning buy the equipment and have it shipped to you, and then with the very simple setup of the app, it walks you through. There's very simple diagrams, and the text is very easy to understand. It's like, all right, move it to the right, move it to the left, tilt it up a little bit, and it gives you real-time feedback within the app. It's great. However, it's not great is, they can't allow new customers right now.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with Hurricane Helene that came through in end of September last year.
I think so too, because they were just handing them out.
They were
then,
and I heard allegedly that there was a Musk helicopter just like setting them out, dropping them out. Not just randomly. They were scheduled. Airdrops, if you will. Apple, don't sue me. But it was coordinated, I should say. And I don't know if Elon was actually in the area or not during that time, but I know some other big names were as well, and whether that was in the political space or the celebrity space, whatever, that people were coming in from all areas. You know, there was a lot of YouTubers that came through that had their own like aircrafts and, you know, brought in supplies and things like that. Shout out to everybody that helped us out with that. That meant the world, and it definitely helped a lot of unfortunate families that had lost a lot of things. Everything in some cases, completely obliterated during that time. So shout out to those guys. Now with the congestion though, you know, here we are. This is March at the time of recording this of 25, and we're having congestion. And basically what that boils back down to is the satellites that are in the atmosphere that are amongst the stars, as they say, are being overloaded.
Yeah.
And now, you know, Starlink which is a Elon Musk company, through SpaceX, which is also an Elon Musk company, you know, they're partnered up to get the satellites from Starlink up in the atmosphere through SpaceX and the launches, the rockets that they do. However, they've had a few mishaps here lately with, you know, the rockets exploding, and you know there is some safety features where it actually prompts the rocket to self-destruct in atmosphere over, you know, certain areas like the water specifically.
Right.
You know, that way, you know, it doesn't come back down onto land and actually harm people. As you know, they want to limit that as much as possible, obviously. And the assistance with technology and AI and machine learning and things like that. But if you have, I was talking to somebody this past week, and they said that they had the equipment, and then whenever they went to go set it up, they got the error that you know there was congestion and they couldn't connect, and they could pay, I think it was like $9 to be on a waiting list and to be notified. But you know, I don't know if that was,
is that notification when service is ready?
That it's ready, yeah, to where they can finish the setup and start using Starlink service for their internet and connectivity and stuff. Now the with the whole Starlink, and then I was talking to somebody else about it, and it was in the same day, completely unrelated. It just two conversations that happened. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? But the second one was they were looking at purchasing the kit to get Starlink set up, and they weren't allowed to. Like this whole area, like we put in, I helped them, you know, a little bit and put in a couple different addresses that, you know, it wasn't just random people's addresses. It was people that we would know that are located, you know, a little bit further out, you know, like different zip codes, but still relatively local, you know, just to see how far, because it wouldn't tell you. It wouldn't give you a map of this area is currently unavailable,
right?
Necessarily, and if it does, I didn't see it. But you know, it just said select areas, basically, of, you know, select areas are under congestion right now. Try again later. You can, you know, get on a waiting list for $9, and I don't know if that goes towards your equipment or what. I would like to think so, but I'm not sure. I can't attest to that. However, basically, I was doing some research into this, and you know, SpaceX is doing launches with their rockets just about almost every week. You know, from Florida and Texas and different locations to get these satellites in orbit. Because you know, Elon, as a businessman, he's like, there's a huge opportunity here, you know, for growth, and you know, especially in the mountain area. You know, horizontal signal, like cell signal and, you know, things like that is very, very difficult to do, because you can have a cell tower and then boom, a mountain right next to it, and there's no service on the other side of the mountain.
Right.
And I'm not talking like a huge mountain. I'm just talking a small mountain that's just simply taller than the cell tower. Yeah. And to be able to project down the signal to the earth vertically, I feel is a superior method of getting a signal out. And like in your case, the cable internet, there a lot of, since the hurricane, when they're rebuilding the network, a lot of them are going underground, which to me should have been that way to begin with.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, for cost reasons. I'm sure it's a little bit more expensive to bury things as far as cable wise and stuff like that goes, because there's a lot more. You've got to survey the area, sonar, the metal detector type, whatever the equipment specifically is called, but you've got to check the ground and to make sure that you go a certain way and you don't cut already existing power lines, plumbing, for water lines, you name it, the list goes on, existing fiber lines already. But I was looking it up, and so as more satellites get into the air, into the atmosphere, the overload will start subsiding.
Right.
And, the customers would start being able to, they would spread the load out. Kind of a Lord of the Rings reference there. Share the load, Frodo. It would share the load between, the existing satellites and the new satellites, and it would free up space, in space. Who knew that was an issue? We need more space in space. No, space on the satellites. And speaking of the satellites, how fast do you think those things are going?
Very. I have no idea.
Well, you're not wrong. However, I was looking it up, and the satellites, SpaceX, or Starlink, I should say, but also just satellites, I guess, in general. But this statistic was specific to Starlink, and it can orbit the entire planet in just like 90 minutes. I don't know how fast that is in miles per hour.
I don't either. It's moving.
It's moving fast. A typical satellite moves at around 17,500 miles per hour in low Earth orbit. Depends on how high it is away from the Earth. But higher orbit, it would move slower, naturally, and that would still be around 7,000 miles per hour. Try that on Earth, you wouldn't survive.
No, I don't think it'll take long to get that problem fixed.
I don't think so either.
It might take a month or more, maybe for our area. But I don't.
And Elon's very aware of it, because he's not hard to get a hold of.
No.
Especially now, being in the political realm. But all you have to do is, I would say, tweet him, on Twitter, but It's not Twitter, X. I don't know what it's called now.
It's X.
Yeah, but what do you call it whenever you message somebody? I guess it's just a message?
I guess.
Because it's not a tweet anymore.
It's not a tweet anymore.
It's not a tweet. What do we got next? That's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think that, well, one more thing. I don't think that issue will be around for too much longer, kind of like what you said.
Yeah, I think it'll be handled relatively fast, especially with how they were handing them out or I should say not during, after the storm came through our area, and people got to see just how well they worked.
Oh yeah.
And we already had ours by then anyway, but so I mean obviously everyone here lost power.
Right.
But
if you had a power source,
like
a backup,
source, you still
it would work. It would still work.
Yeah, it still worked. It worked perfectly through the whole thing. We had to, we ran a generator for a week, about like how everybody else did.
Right.
And we still had internet, we still had TV because we stream everything, and so it was kind of like normal.
Yeah. As much as could be.
Right.
You know. And having a family, with kiddos involved, you want it to be as normal as possible.
Yeah.
And we understand that, not all families had that, displaced, and the kids, and they had to go through that and lost everything that they had to, and, how heartbreaking that was. And, we understand that, and we hear you. And, thoughts and prayers and everything that, because there's still people that are trying to get some normalcy back, and it's become better in the last 2 months. Things have progressed a lot quicker.
Yeah.
and everything. But yeah, it's still a long road to recovery sometimes.
Yeah, we still have not to my knowledge in the county we live in, but some of our northern counties, we still have folks living in tents, and still to this day. And that was that storm came through in September.
Yeah.
So
just realized the audio wasn't recording for part of it.
Oh, really?
Like it quit.
Yay.
So fun stuff.
Where did?
I don't know when it stopped.
I don't either.
But it's going now.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Well, you know what time it is?
It's time for that to start working.
It is time for that to start working.
What time is it?
It's time to pay the bills.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
Man, why?
Because
it's so fun.
You got to.
I don't like adulthood, man.
I don't either.
It's the craziest hood I've ever lived in.
The same. So, we're going to pay the bills. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
You were talking about how fast, everything is, like the satellites are going
right.
and all that stuff. You know what else is fast?
What's that?
TDS Studios.
Really?
They are.
How fast?
Well, you're going to have to tell me because you own it.
Okay. Well, TDS Studios is a videography and photography company. And they provide services from not just like weddings and stuff, but we do that, and we do any kind of special events that comes your way, and we want to make sure that it's affordable for you, but also getting the best product possible. We still do DVDs and Blu-rays, but we also do mostly now digital distribution, whether that's Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever it be. But we like to capture your life's moments, in video or photo form. We do portraits. We do, all kinds of different photography as well. But yeah, TDS Studios. And if you ever want a solid, custom-made piece of furniture, I know a guy.
Do you now?
I do. Yeah. So tell me more, because this one is yours over here.
Yeah, I am the owner and operator of Bridgewater Custom Furniture.
Right.
Make anything from cutting boards, charcuterie boards, dining room tables, you name it.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay away from cabinets. Not very fun to build cabinets, but I would do it if I had to.
You'd do it if you had to.
Yeah, and you will get top of the line wood, service, everything if you come through us.
Yeah, and you've actually we've done. I've been over there, and I've seen some of the wood that you use, and some of it's exotic too.
Yeah,
and it is really pretty.
Yeah, I got really lucky, and found a lot of. I actually found a basement full of. literally a basement full of wood, and there was a lot of exotic woods in there, along with zebra wood, a wood called wenge.
Oh.
It looks plastic,
mm-hmm.
but it's not.
It looks plastic?
It actually looks, once you finish it, it looks plastic with wood grain pattern in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's called what?
Wenge.
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 Wingy.
That's what I thought, but I was corrected by someone.
Just like that.
By someone who knows better than I.
Fair
yeah.
enough. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can find Bridgewater Custom Furniture on Facebook, Instagram. You can reach out to me at through email bwcf843@gmail.com.
And we'll have it up on the screen as well. And then for me, you can look up, on Facebook, and then Instagram as well. Email tdsstudios@gmail.com, and let us know how we can help you, whether it's capturing your moments or custom furniture, and stuff like that. We'll be happy to help you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right.
So, Washington, D.C.
Yes.
is for sale.
For sale.
Or is it? According to, I forgot who I pulled this from. I believe it was Wired.
Okay.
I got this info off of. But on Tuesday, the General Service Administration, GSA, put a list of properties, buildings up for sale.
Uh-huh.
And I think you might have a list there pulled up on your computer.
Yes.
Of 400 properties for sale, including the FBI headquarters, Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD.
Yes.
Department of Justice. And
deeming them not core to government operations.
right.
Quote unquote.
Right. And then just, later on the same day, 123 properties were removed from the list. And now there is no list.
It was there.
And now
and
it's
then
gone.
It's gone.
And that's why I was saying Washington, D.C. is for sale. Or is it?
Right.
Because now you can't find any of these buildings that were posted for sale.
Yeah, and the National Museum of American Diplomacy in Washington, D.C., different museums and different, just federal buildings that were, supposedly for essential operations, they, for a short time at least, were proven not to be. And it was a total, I think, of 443 buildings and about 80 million rentable square feet.
Wow.
That's a lot of taxpayer dollars right there.
What is that going to go towards? I mean, if they do sell this stuff, is that going to be housing? Is that going to be more office space?
Dollar General.
Or Subway. Or both. At least
that's Subway with a Dollar General in it.
At least that's how it is in our area.
Or a Dollar General with Subway in it. There
One of the two.
That makes more sense.
But that's something that they're not saying, at least that I've heard, what they're going to do. Are they just going to sell it and be done with it, and the government no longer owns it? Or, I mean, I don't think we need that many properties.
No, we don't.
But these things that they're getting rid of and then selling the buildings, I'm not too familiar with HUD.
No, I'm not either.
But I know. Yeah, that was it right there. What you've got pulled up. So it's not just Washington, D.C. It's all across the country.
Right. There's places now. There's a lot in Washington D.C., but there's places across the entire nation, like Seattle and.
Can you zoom on that?
I think so.
Zoom in on that. Let's see what's for sale in our area.
Our area. All right, let's look it up.
Looks like. Oh, that's not our area. Ooh, I bet that's the federal building in Nashville. Sure enough.
Veach Valley Federal Complex.
Wow.
Yep. Got one in Raleigh and U.S. Courthouse in Greenville.
Wow.
Strom Thundermond in South Carolina. A lot of different areas. That's just to name a few, which there is several.
Yeah.
Like we said, over 400, or at one point there was at least. And this article here, at the time of recording this video, was, or this podcast is, came out March 5th. And this is from Wired. Just kind of throwing them out there as well.
Yeah.
But it's just a simple search, and you can look it up. We can throw our topics in the description as well. Of the that we've discussed. That way you can look it up for yourself and see what all information that you can learn about.
I guess what I want to know is, you said 400 and something.
Yeah, 443.
Are they still for sale?
I don't know.
Or since that list was taken down, our administration, I would assume, has reconsidered selling since now you can't find it.
Yeah, because whenever I do a search, not going to say on what platform, but whenever I do a search, the Washington Post has something, Wired has something, a few other places have something, but here's something that takes down its list. Takes down a list of hundreds of federal buildings targeted for potential sale. The Trump administration on Tuesday published a list of more than 440 federal properties that identified to close or sell, including the FBI headquarters, Department of Justice, not core to government operations. They deemed them. However, hours later, the administration issued a revised list of only 320 entries, and guess what? None of them were in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's what
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Because I know they took the, I got it.
And
somewhere.
then
They took the J. Edgar Hoover building, the Veterans Administration, was all removed from the list by end of day, following day of Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday morning, the list was gone entirely.
Yeah. So I guess we're keeping all of it.
Apparently so.
Okay.
None of it's for sale right now.
Okay.
Sorry, potential buyers.
Yeah, if you're wanting to go to Washington, D.C.
I guess all those properties will remain in their owner as they currently are, as U.S. property. But that's pretty wild that even came about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's change gears.
Mm-hmm. You're going to hurt my feelings with this.
I'm sorry. So we were actually supposed to be in a different state right now.
Mm-hmm. This was supposed to be like episode 3 or 4 by now.
Yeah, fair. and life happens. But.
And life happens. We both were sick at one point.
Yeah, sick and just a lot of different things going on. And just one thing led to another, and it's like,
yeah.
But here we are. We're finally doing it. We finally made it. There's ran into some tech issues, so sorry about that earlier. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're making it work. We're
making it work.
Determination, and you can't have a great thing without a lot of hard work and sweat and tears.
True.
And so far neither one of us has cried yet today, but not that I know of. Not in front of one another anyway. It's like,
right.
Anyhow, so a lot of learning process, but yeah. So we were supposed to be on a off-roading adventure right now.
Yeah, we were supposed to be in West Virginia at the 24 Hours of Appalachia. It's an endurance race, even though they don't like it being called an endurance race. And it's actually going on right now. It's been going on since 8 o'clock this morning. And it's a 600-mile endurance race across the state of West Virginia, and you have 24 hours to complete it.
Yeah.
And I was so looking forward to it. And
so was I once you told me about it, and I was like, whoa, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And it all proceeds go to the West Virginia Children's Home Society and the Backroads of Appalachia. And like I've already said, I was looking so forward to this trip, and my Jeep took a dump and died.
Yeah.
It got sick, and
Yeah, it got sick as well.
we had to cancel.
Yeah. But we will prevail. And we have plans to attend a future one.
Right. Yeah,
There's
there's 3 more events up there this year. We're going to try to catch one of the last 2
for this year.
Yeah, because the next one is May, and I don't know if we'll have the time. May.
Yeah, May. That's coming up hot.
Yeah,
coming up quick.
Coming really quick. I think the next one's August after May, and the next one's August, and then the last one for the year is in October.
Yeah.
And October is invite only. I don't know what that means. So I don't know if you have to run in one previously. Could be.
Okay.
I don't know if you have to run in one previously to be invited back. I don't know.
That's probably what it is. That's kind of what we're thinking that it might be, but we will find out. And definitely get in on one of them. If not, maybe even both. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do both. They're both in different locations. The one that's going on right now is going on in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the Mothman legend came out of.
Right.
And it winds all the way across the state and ends up in Seneca Rocks, West Virginia.
Sounds amazing.
It is. It's very beautiful. I
Yes.
looked up pictures of it, and it's pretty amazing. I would have loved to have been able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said, we're going to do one eventually. It'll probably might try to hit the August one, depending on the dates of the August one.
Yes.
But we'll see.
All right. Yeah. I'm very looking forward to it. And I know you are for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely document the whole adventure. And who knows? There might be some live going in there. I don't know. But either way, we'll definitely document it and put it out there for you guys to see as well. And we talked about doing a podcast out on the road.
Yeah, doing it
So
while
we're doing
running that
while we're
race.
doing the race or the adventure, and have that kind of documenting that, but also having different topics while we're in process of that.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be fun.
It would be.
So next episode,
Yes,
I don't know.
next episode.
I don't know. Like maybe next week. I don't know.
Sure.
You and I really haven't discussed that.
Yeah.
How
sure.
often?
Yeah.
I do have us a guest, and his
sweet.
name is Joe Gurecki. And Joe, I've known Joe since we were kids. Him and I are very close, same age. And Joe, for I'd say the majority of his adult life, has fought alcohol.
That's a tough battle. Right
And
there.
he, I think now he's 7 years sober.
That's amazing.
And he's going to come on
Good job, Joe.
and tell his story.
Okay.
And,
yeah, absolutely. That would be amazing.
I know he's super excited about it. He's excited about coming on. I've heard his story before, and it was, man, it's tough to listen to, especially if you know him like I do. It's tough to listen to. But yeah, he's going to be on the next episode. He's super excited, and he's ready to go. He's a great guy. He's hilarious. I told Tyler here earlier he could be a stand-up comedian, and that is 100% true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny, whenever we first talked about this, about having him on, and how, not getting into this wormhole too much, but how like our phones listen to you or listen to us, and he showed up on social media of somebody I might know right after we talked about it, and I was that's the guy.
Yeah,
that's our guest coming up, Joe Gurecki, and very much looking forward to having him on. And definitely stay tuned and catch that episode whenever it comes out very soon. And we're so thankful and glad that you guys have tuned in. And
Final thoughts. What you got? Final thought for the day before we tell people see you later.
Before we say see you later, so this kind of ties into the next episode a little bit. That no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, that doesn't have to be the end game.
True.
That there is hope, and there is a very good chance that you can turn it around, whether it's by yourself or reach out. That's a key thing, man.
Yeah.
Reach out to somebody that you can trust, somebody that you know that's going to give you good, sound advice, and to turn your life around.
Yep.
Because no matter how old you are or how young you are or what you've been through or what you've been told or what's been told about you, it's not too late.
Nope.
And don't give up. And it's never too late to start incorporating healthy practices in your life. You know,
Right.
I guess basically it's self-care.
Yeah.
You know, and something that's overlooked a lot in society.
Yeah.
But man, take care of yourself. You know?
Yeah.
You know, man, woman, whatever. Just human. You know, take care of yourselves. Really. Not for anybody else, but for you.
Yeah.
Because you matter.
If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others.
That's right. All right.
Final thoughts from me?
Yeah, your turn.
Wow. If you want something, work for it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give you anything in this world.
No free lunch.
No. Unless you're a kid at school these days. But yeah, if you want something bad enough, you work hard, you earn it. And you're going to get told no a lot, and that's okay.
Yeah. No hurts sometimes. It really does.
Yeah.
But sometimes looking back on some of the times I was told no, it's for the better.
Yeah. You weren't ready.
I wasn't ready. Yeah.
Yep. And you'd have been in over your head if somebody would have said yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you want something, work for it.
Work for it. Work hard.
Yep. All right. Let's get out of here.
All right, let's do it, man.
Let's go do something else.
All right. See you guys.